Hello, hi everyone. Hi, this is Christine Crowell here, and welcome. Happy Saturday to you all, and I am super excited for today. And I hope that you've got your pen and paper and notepad or laptop, whatever it is you want to use to take some notes today. I want to also say thank you for your likes and your subscribing to the channel as well. And today it's Saturday. Happy Saturday to everybody. But let's get straight into this because today is day 2 of the mini business recovery bootcamp, and we are literally live, and it's the 28th of December, but I'm going to go straight into this as well because I want to be able to give you as much information as possible. So thank you so much for those of you that are here today, and hopefully you would have got the memo that we were starting at 2 o'clock UK time, which is 9 a.m. if you're in the States, for example. And let's get straight into it. So as you know, I'm Christine Crowell, and I want to talk to you today about day 2, about the proven strategies to level up your business and your team management, because this is also important as well. Your team is important because your team are also behind the scenes helping to build your business. So that is most important, that you hire the right team members so they can build your business, so you don't have to worry about getting rid of them later on down the line, because either they can make or break your business. To be truthfully honest, staff can break your business if they're the wrong type of people to have in your business. They've got to be trustworthy, they've got to be honest, they've got to be with a good heart, and respect you as a boss, but also respect your clients as well, and to keep things confidential and private, because when an organization, we have our activities, but at the same time a staff member should also keep the information private that is being discussed about what the organization goals are and what the missions are and what the tasks are for the week. And this is really shows the integrity of the staff member if they're not able to keep that quiet, for example, and to do what they're meant to do. Because when someone turns things around and uses it to their own advantage because they weren't doing the work, then they're not the right person to have for your organization. So having the right staff member that's not toxic, that is not going to use your information or use your staff members' information and in a misleading way, that is a toxic supervisor or manager. So I just want you to be aware of that. So if you do have any of that you can see, you need to nip it in the bud straight away and just basically get rid of them as soon as you find out. They usually leave before you get to do that because they know that you're onto them as well. So let me carry on here, because building a resilient business, you need to have a framework. Now, the objective here is for you to learn how to create your own business framework. Yes, we go into it in our paid bootcamp, but I also want to offer you some guidance here and some thought process so that you can do this as well. Okay, so you got to make sure that you build a framework that withstands the challenges and fosters growth within your organization. So today, we talked yesterday about SWOT analysis, but we're going to do a quick refresher regarding the SWOT analysis. This is about applying it to your team dynamics and your operations as well. Now, we talked about the balanced scorecard in a way that I was able to talk to you in actionable steps that you can implement straight away. So like the financial stability, for example, the thorough budgeting that you need to do, and also your crisis fund contributions, doing the 10 to 15% monthly that you're going to put into your business for a crisis fund, because believe me, you're going to need that. Every business really needs that, especially 2025. We've got to start thinking like the big 8-figure companies do and build a crisis fund, because we can never say when we're going to be hit with anything. So customer retention strategies as well to secure long-term revenue streams for your business is important as well. So grab your teas, grab your coffee. We're going to go straight into this. So streamlining your internal processes with, you can use virtual assistants, or you can use the apprenticeships that I spoke about as well, and I've been talking about it for some time now to help you to reduce costs. I'm really passionate and serious about this because, like I said, I have been through 3 recessions in my lifetime. We don't know what's happening next year, but I've been through 3. So I know what to expect now because it's hit me 3 times. So I want you to really prepare yourself for as if you are going into a recession, even though you may not believe that. Think that you are going into recession, and what can you do to help your company thrive in this time of uncertainty? Because a lot of organizations, the large organizations, the 8-figure companies, for example, or even the 7-figure companies, they're actually waiting and using this time as an opportunity to grow their business. Anybody can grow in a difficult environment. It's what you do in that time that makes you grow. That is the key. Either you do nothing, or you do something about it and you look around and think, right, what is lacking here? What do I need to supply to meet the need in order for me to get money to rise my company, like the eagle you saw above everyone else? Okay, so we talked yesterday about your operations and your long-term growth, about, becoming that eagle, reinventing yourself, going up to that mountain, for example, and coming back strong, and really moving those wings even stronger than what it was before. That's how you got to look at 2025 as. So what I want you to do, and today you're going to be creating a mini balanced scorecard for your business. So please do get a notepad and paper. I'm going to show you what I'm referring to. Right, get a notepad. You see how big my notepad is? I'll just flip this over because I've already written on that side. So you see how big my notepad is, right? So get yourself a notepad and you're going to draft a small mini scorecard, okay? So that you're learning and practicing how to do a balanced scorecard. So that is the key for today. So as well as that, we're going to be discussing about team management strategies. The objective here is to equip you with the tools that you need to manage your team effectively, even during tough times. Now, I was just speaking with someone today, for example, and they can have that time off, but they're still being drawn into things now and again. The key is really that we really want to do is to have that freedom where the company is able to still function without you. That's the goal for you as a business owner. You want your business to function without you, because otherwise you will never be free. You will always be called in, and this is why I've taken on the independent coaches, so that I can have more time freedom, so that I can work 3 days in my business, because I love what I do anyway. I can't really see myself stopping anyway. So I want to do 3 days a week. And that is my focus, living the vision beyond the vision, living beyond the horizon, for example, so that I can also do my other products and projects that I want to do in this world, to help humanity, for example. Okay, so what you've got to learn is that you want to be able to look at your team members and know that they're able to manage effectively, but not be a manager who is toxic or a supervisor who is toxic, that is talking about the staff members behind their backs and speaking to the boss, giving all negative feedback about people. You don't want that type of manager, because that means if they're speaking like that about their team members, then they're going to speak badly about you as well behind your back. So just bear that in mind. It's how they say it. They need to be like a mentor. They need to be like a coach to the staff members that they are supervising or managing. Not be toxic. That is a bad manager and it's a bad supervisor. And if they'll do it to their team members, then they will certainly do it to you. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Don't think they're doing you a favor, because they're not. They're actually looking after their own back. So they'll end up possibly stabbing you in the back as well. Okay, so I just wanted to say that because it happens. So delegation and outsourcing is key. Leveraging the power of vetted virtual assistants for operational tasks. Now, we've got a virtual assistants agency and we take on ethical virtual assistants, okay? We do not charge virtual assistants to come and work for us at all. We don't do that, because if that happens, then that's not correct, okay? So it's like if, for example, if you was to recruit a candidate, for example, like how we do like referral. If you refer someone, then that staff member who referred that particular person to you can get like a £20 $20 bonus or $50 bonus, providing that person has stayed with the company for 3 months or more, for example. You could even make it 6 months now, due to the length of time probationary period is. So think about that. Now that is fine to do that, but when a staff member who is a manager or supervisor or someone in charge is actually charging someone but not telling you as a boss that that person has just paid them, say £50, for example, to come and work for you, then that is wrong. That's bad. Okay, so bear that in mind, because that is going on, because I've seen it happen in my own business. So just be aware of that. Okay, we are here to help one another to grow. Okay, we've all got our dreams, we've all got our goals, but we have to do things ethically, otherwise it is not going to work, for example. So like with employment companies, they charge the organization, don't they? If they want a permanent staff member to come to them, then they will charge that organization a fee of say 10%, but it all has to be agreed and verbally in writing that company is going to pay 10% or 20% of that person's first year salary, for example, as a one-off fee. That's what we call ethical, okay? But you shouldn't be, for example, if a supervisor or manager is charging someone who doesn't have any money, they're looking for a job, and they're charging them to come and work for you, but yet you don't know about it, then that is wrong, okay? We have to look out for these things, and I'm telling you this because I would hate for you to get caught out in this way, because people are very clever these days. People are doing things that you don't even imagine would even happen today. For example, we're in a different world. It's not like the old days. People are crafty. So I'm talking like this because of team management strategies, and management and supervisors sometimes There's good ones and there's some bad ones as well. Okay, so it's important to do delegation and outsourcing. Like I said, using our virtual assistant agency of vetted, and there's no corruption has gone on there, for example, with the VAs that we now have, for example, and that are for helping with operational tasks. And make sure whether you get your own VA, for example, make sure that they're ethical and that they're trustworthy. Get a reference from their previous employer. Don't just accept what they've told you. You got to go direct and ask, because sometimes people can actually change emails. They can even change text messages. They can make up fake accounts. I've had it where someone's made up a fake account of me sending a message and it wasn't even my Facebook account, for example, and yet they'd saved these messages which was used for their own gain, for example. So be careful out there, directors, please, because people are very clever these days with manipulating and changing things and just making it wrong. Okay, so you want to ensure that you hire the top managers that you can trust. You want to hire a manager that can manage remote teams, for example, or just do some, I'll give you some tips for hiring and managing a remote team. You want to be able to motivate and retain the talent that you have, because good talent is good, bad talent is bad, but it's hard to fire them as well. Okay, so like I said, good talent can make a business, bad talent can break a business within a matter of years, for example. Okay, so imagine you built something up to a really good level and then you've got this bad talent in that can really cause you to lose money, for example. So be careful of that as well. And sometimes people will smile in your face, say, yes, I've done that. But you literally, sometimes you got to check, unfortunately, because you can't go by what they've said to you. So sometimes you may come across a conflict resolution, and I'm speaking like this because I've been hiring staff members for 40 years now, okay? And I've seen the good, bad, and the ugly. So make sure that you've got the correct tools and techniques to resolve any team issues quickly and effectively. Remember what I was saying yesterday, sometimes staff members aren't even using the tools that you give them. So, you've got to check to make sure that these things are being used and see the evidence by logging in and to look at the activity. Because we've got all of our software for years now, all of our software, we can actually log in to that person's account that they've logged into, and we can see when they last went in and when they last did something and what they did and what they downloaded, which is really good evidence for when you do need to have this information. So, make sure that you can clock in and check to see what's happening, so you can see the workflow or no flow, for example, as well as what they've done, whether they've downloaded information. I'll give you one example. Once ex-staff member downloaded our information, but they downloaded the wrong section because they didn't know how to use it properly, because we had a protected section, you see. So always have a section that is protected, that only you and, for example, me and my family members, we know that we can access that area. The rest of the team members can't. Okay, so just be mindful of that, because you do have to protect your business. So you want to do some engagement activity, for example, engage with your team members, talk to your managers, see what challenges that the team members are facing. But also get the team members in as well. Don't just go by what your manager said. You can have your team managers meeting, but also have a meeting with everybody to discuss the issues that they're having. Because sometimes when you talk with a manager, you give the information, then the manager then has to go back and give the information to the person that you really wanted to talk to in the first place. And then the person that they pass the information to, it's not the right information that you actually said, because when you talk to someone, it just gets weakened and turned into their version. So then in reality, what you actually wanted didn't happen, or it got missed out, some of the important factors. So it's important to have your manager meeting, but it's also important to have your team meeting to make sure that it's happening with what you've wanted to happen in the first place. Okay? We're so busy having all these meetings and meetings and meetings, and nothing's being done. So I think it's important to record the meeting so that everybody gets a copy of that meeting, but they're meant to read the highlights of that meeting. And what is so good now, there's the software which my son showed me, and it's on Microsoft anyway, and what it does, it actually just highlights the really strong points of the meeting, but also who's been allocated the task and what they need to do, for example. So what happens there is that the staff member then gets the email of the meeting, and it only involves just them. It just involves what was discussed with what they need to do. So they're not having to listen to the whole meeting that could have been a 4-hour meeting, for example, with the CEO and the CFO and the COO and the manager, for example. But it's key points, and it's on Microsoft. It's Catapult. Let me just go to that quickly. It is called, it's Microsoft Office, and it's Catapult. So that team member will then get the notification, hey, this is the meeting, this is what was discussed for you to do, this is what you need to do, this is the deadline, I want it on my desk by this date, this is the team members that was involved, and this is what we agreed upon. So please confirm that you've received that email and that you're working on this task. I've set a date, the clock's ticking, get on with it. Sorry, I'm being to the point, because I know that time is valuable. We haven't got time to be wasting, and just, it's your business at the end of the day. So use the Microsoft Teams, is very good, for example, but also in there's a thing called Catapult. Catapilot, I think it's called. Let me just go to it quickly. I didn't want to open it up because I was trying not to open it up here on YouTube, but I can put the link here for you to see. But it really is so good, because when you've got all these people in your team and they've all got different tasks that they're doing, and then you're talking about your operations meeting with your CFO and your COO and your manager, for example, it just goes boom, 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 right to the right people in the teams. This is what we've asked you to do. This is what you need to be doing. This is what was not done. Can you give your feedback on this? That type of thing. So it's really, really good. So I just wanted to point that out. So your team meetings are very important, but you need to be effective. Your time is valuable. Everyone's time is valuable. Okay? So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is growth and scaling strategies for your business. Now, I spoke about how you can scale your operations whilst maintaining efficiency, and you creating new revenue streams, for example, by exploring subcontracting opportunities, offering premium services to high value clients. Directors, we need to really start focusing on this. We really do. We got to double down on this. We're too busy chasing the low hanging fruit, and that's why things take so longer. It's harder, whereas the high hanging fruit, the expectation isn't as hard as what it is for a low hanging fruit, because it's bruised, you see. I hope you understand that terminology that I've just said. So obviously if you're working, for example, if you're working with an organization and they're giving you the bare minimum, you've got to work 3 times as hard, and your team members and your staff members, for a higher priced value service that you're offering. You will only have to do work once, for example, as opposed to doing 3 times as much. Which do you prefer? Because the turnover will be more with the higher value, for example, services that you're providing. Because when you've got a lower value service, that means you've got more staff involved. That means there's more stress involved. That means that your revenue, profitability is very low. This is why, Amazon, for example, not Amazon, this is why Macy's stores have been closing, because of the low performing stores. And the low performing stores, I'm not saying it's the staff members that are in there that's caused the low performance. It's because people are shopping more online, and the location, sometimes people can't be bothered to drive out to somewhere for 30 minutes, 45 minutes just to walk into a store when they can get something online. Whereas with Macy's, you don't mind getting on the train or driving there, for example, and parking up and going into Macy's, because you got this experience. You experience this. It's just an amazing feeling when you walk into that store on 34th Street. You want to be there. You want to see what's happening. There's a lot going on. So it's more exciting for you than going into a boring store. And I'm not saying that all stores are boring. I'm just saying, like when I was in Michigan, for example, I went into Macy's, for example, and I think we had to travel for about 45 minutes. And then when I went into the store, there was only a third. It was only a third full. It wasn't packed. There wasn't much of a queue. So I can, in a way, understand why Macy's have made that decision, because it really depends on the location and whether people can pay for things at a higher rate, if you understand what I mean. Whereas Macy's 34th Street, people are usually on a higher wage, for example, so then they can pay a higher product, for example, if that makes sense. So like I said, look at that Macy's model. Do you work for something that's only going to give you like £2 extra or $2 extra an hour? Or would you prefer to work for something that could give you $10 to $15, $20 per hour, for example? So look at 2025 in that way, so that you're able to look at premium service by offering to clients that can pay for that service, that is not on such a strict budget that they can't go over that amount. And then that client could turn around to you and say, well, hey ho, we're actually going to cut down your rate that you're getting, is going to happen in 3 months. Because that's what happened to me when I had a very, very large contracts with the government. They just cut down my price. And now, you know, at the end of the day, I understand now because of the recession was happening. I wasn't aware. I wasn't thinking that the recession was happening because I was so busy working in the business, and we were running around like a headless chicken, for example, because we had thousands of hours, for example. So we were so busy running around serving that I didn't really have time to think, oh, this is happening. I didn't even really have time to, I didn't even watch the news, to tell you the truth. So, but you know, I was hearing that this was happening, that was happening, but I didn't really click, you know. And this is why I'm saying to you, 2025, you need to be prepared for when these things do happen, and whether whether there's a recession happening or not, we still need to do it every single year on year on year. We do, because we never know when we're going to be hit with a challenge, because this isn't just about a recession hitting. This is about, if you get hit with a challenge, what will you do with that? You'll have funds to overcome that challenge, so you can make that challenge go away and it's not going to cause any issues for you. Whereas with another company, it will cause an issue because they didn't save for that rainy day. I didn't save for that rainy day, so I couldn't overcome that challenge that was hit with me. So I retreated and I stopped, for example. So look at your marketing positioning, for example, and look at your brand. You want to be different. You want to be different through innovation. You want to be a superior service. That's what you got to be in 2025 to stand out, just like how the bigger guys are doing. You got to do that. You got to look at your business. You got to see it from the third person, from a third party, not from your eyes, but from a third party. And would they buy your business? And look at your own business and see it from a third party's point of view. Observe from outside. Don't be personal with it. Observe it and say, would I buy that business? And if the answer is no, you got to make some changes, and you got to make some changes fast, because every business that you do should be a business that you really want to sell, because it's that good. That is a true CEO, a true business leader. Okay, so like I said, your market positioning, you need to be a superior service. You want to be way above the others. Like the eagle soars high, up high. It doesn't hang around with the little birds, for example. It's always up high, and it's observing, 5 kilometers, for example, down below. That's how you want to be superior. So what I want to also talk to you about is that we have got our memberships for, it's actually on YouTube here. We've got levels 1 to 4, okay? And just give you a little hint. The benefits of the memberships, the YouTube memberships, are you'll have access to exclusive behind the scenes content and quick tips. Level 2.2 is in-depth strategy sessions and live Q&As. And also our 3 is level 3 is monthly masterclass on business growth and resilience. And level 4 is personalized business audits and one-to-one opportunities, because what I want you to look at is, what is your exit strategy for your business? Now, I'm not talking about right now, but what is the point of what you're going to do? Are you going to sell your business, or are you going to franchise your business? Whatever it is you're doing in future, you need to start implementing it today and being that today, the future. And that is by you working with these strategies that I'm giving to you so that you're able to grow your business in the right way, because you're here to run a business. You're not here to mess around. You haven't got time to be messing around. Everybody that is in your business needs to respect your business and to be able to work together as a team so that everybody grows and develops as well. So if you do, I would love for you to have a look. And if you do join today, for example, that would be great as well. But don't worry, everybody will be getting a free gift as well. This is a downloadable PDF, and this is really to complement our bootcamp as well, so that you're getting some ideas here. So the free gift for yourselves is the Resilient CEO Playbook, for example. It's a PDF, and it will be tips on building a crisis fund. I talked about some of this, but this you'll have as something that you can read in your own time. There'll be also a template of the balanced scorecard, which is just a small template. I'll also be giving you 10 quick strategies to improve team productivity, and also you'll be getting a roadmap for implementing the lessons that I've learnt. But in our bootcamp, which is the paid bootcamp, which starts next month, for example, which is really, week after next, then you'll be getting a lot more. But I just wanted to mention that to you. So, and I'd also like you to check out the 30-day challenge here on YouTube, but I also want you to join our YouTube membership as well, and so that you can we can keep connected as well, because I don't just want to talk to you just for 2 days. I want to be here for the long term with you and build a collaboration, a business relationship, and we can all support one another as well. Okay, so what I'd like to talk to you about now is about building a resilient business framework. So when you create a business framework, it withstands challenges and it also fosters growth for long-term sustainability. So the resilience is the ability to adapt to adversity and come out stronger, like the eagle mentality. So just like with Macy's, for example, just like with Amazon, just like with Disney, how they adapted their framework during the crisis or the crises, you can do the same too. So their key components for that resilience was financial stability, for example. They maintained liquidity and building a crisis fund. Operational efficiency, they streamlined their processes to minimize waste. They don't want to keep paying out for stores that are underperforming. That's taking money away from what is working, and that can then weaken what is working to create it the same as the weaker store, and then there's no strong foundation for if there is a crisis, for example. So streamline your processes to minimize waste. Like I said, I've been speaking about this for a number of months now, for example. So customer retention, focus on high value customers for steady revenue. That's what you want. You want residual income to come in, and you want to focus on that. You should always look at things that aren't bringing bringing you in much money is always just like bread and butter money, but it's not going to really take you over to the top where you want to be. It will just keep you at that level, lower on the ground, like the smaller birds, rather than the eagle that soars high, for example. So when you're looking at implementing the balance scorecard, you need to align your business activities with long-term goals. So get your notepad and paper out and write out financial perspective. Here I want you to track your costs, savings, and your revenue growth. So what is your cost savings? So what is it can you save, and what is your growth here? This is your financial part of your scorecard. Remember I said about allocating at least 10% of your monthly revenue to a crisis fund. At least 10%. So that is part of your balance scorecard, is the financial perspective. So let's just, for example, I'm going to write here on my notepad, financial perspective, and I want you to do the same, right? We're going to create this circle, and I'm not very good at drawing, so please don't don't hold me on that. Then I'm going to write at the side, I'm going to write customer perspective. Then at 6 o'clock I'm going to write internal perspective. Then I'm going to write at 3 o'clock learning and growth. Right, so that is my scorecard. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have something in the middle, and then I'm going to do a drawing like this. Please don't quote me on my drawing, because my drawing is terrible, right? So here I've got a piece of paper, and you can see, can't you, what I've written, what I've just said to you, and I want you to do the same, okay? And then what you're going to do is, where it says financial perspective, write track cost, savings, revenue. Then I will write 10%. Monthly is what you're going to be doing for your crisis fund. Like I said, I'm not great at drawing, but I'm just giving you a quick example here, right? So, like that. So, in the financial perspective, there's track, cost, savings, and revenue growth. Then, underneath that example is 10% monthly crisis fund that you're going to be saving. Then in your customer perspective, I've done mine at 9 o'clock. I'm going to focus on customer satisfaction and retention strategies. Then an example would be to offer tailored solution to high value clients. So what is it that you can offer solution wise? So focus on, and you'll be able to watch this video afterwards, because I want you to watch this a couple of times. Then your example is to offer, in our paid bootcamp, we do, just so that you know, as well as our membership, we do offer these templates, but I'm just giving you some real examples, for example. Okay, so example, offer tailored solutions like high value clients, for example. See, I've done the second circle, right? So then the third circle, depends really where you've placed them all. So the third circle I've got is 3 o'clock, is learning processes. So identify inefficiencies. Hope you're writing with me. And then automation task, and then also an example would be to use virtual assistants, for example, or apprenticeships. So write that with me, please. So VA services. Okay. So then the 6 o'clock, what I've got on my circle is the learning and growth. So here you foster continuous improvement, and upskill. Team. So your example of that would be to do monthly training sessions for your team. Sometimes you have to do them daily if it's a new thing, until you know that they've got it correctly, and get them to show you examples, get them to share their screen with you, get them to show you what it is that they're doing, so you know that they understand what you're saying as well. And yes, sometimes it can seem heavy that you're doing it, but it has to be done. You know, you've got to be patient as well. So I've just written this out just quickly, just so you can see, but I want you to do this. For example, hopefully you can see what I've done. Okay, so that is how you would look at implementing your balanced scorecard, for example. And then in the center, I'll talk to you about in the center. Then the next thing is that you need to think about is your SWOT analysis. What are the strengths? So conduct the strengths. What does your business excel at? What are the weaknesses? We all, you know, we know what SWOT analysis is, but you still need to update your business plan. You can't keep the same business plan. Your business keeps evolving year after year. Some people, they've still got the same business plan for years, and it's really changed. Things have changed. So what are the weaknesses? Identify the gaps and areas for improvement. What are the opportunities? Explore new markets, partnerships, or revenue streams, for example. What are the threats? Anticipate challenges such as market downturns or competition. Competition could just set up right next door to you. I've had it where I've had a couple of times actually, where competitions just set up where you're set up. It's like 2 doors down, or across the street, or the next the next street down. You know you're doing good when people start doing that, okay? And, you know, at the end of the day, I always see it as collaboration. So rather than me see them as competition, I actually go and visit them, handshake, talk to them, and see how we can work together. But I will give you one story. One company came in to my office that I had in Sussex, for example, and literally told me that they are here to destroy what I'm doing and that they want to buy me out. So sometimes you can get people like that in your business, and it's not nice, but you have to, that's just part of business. You can get that when you get really popular. Sometimes people get jealous and they want to wipe you out, so to speak. So especially when you've been in business for as long as what I have, for example. So let's look at your SWOT analysis, write out that, then do some I want you to do your business strengths. What are your business strengths? What are your business weaknesses? What are the opportunities, and what are the threats that you're currently facing right now? So spend about 5 minutes, for example, but think about what are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you excel at? And really should focus on that. As well as, what is your weaknesses? Why is it a weakness? Is it a weakness because of your talent that you've got? Is that your weakness? Or is it a weakness that you need to hire more talent that's qualified, for example? What are the opportunities that you can see that is not being dealt with, for example? And what are the threats? Inflation, for example. What threats can you see? The next thing I want you to think about is developing your crisis fund. I've already mentioned this, but I'm mentioning it again and again and again because I cannot stress enough how important it is to create a crisis fund. You've got to get ready. Business owners, you've got to get ready. Whether you're in healthcare, whatever business you're in, you've got to be ready. You've got to do this. And it's important to act and have that safety net. And you've got to act quickly because there's an economic downturn that's coming. So you need to look at evaluating who you've got in your business and see what you can cut out, you know, the things you can cut out, you know, that's causing you cash, just chucking it away in the bin, for example, when you could put it into this crisis fund. Okay, what percentage of those profits can you put into this crisis fund? Reduce unnecessary expenses and reinvest in your savings. And also look at subcontracting with other organizations to bring in more revenue. I spoke to you even about YouTube. Look at YouTube now. YouTube is paying monthly if you do videos on a regular basis. You know, this is why I was doing beta testing for 2 months. You may have noticed I'm shooting videos out every day because I want to see what's happening here. People are on YouTube and they're making 10, 20,000 a month just by doing YouTube videos and being paid through YouTube ads. So maybe you could look at doing something like that as well. Okay, so, and then you can put that money into a crisis fund each month, for example. So, because you want to have the crisis fund to save your business from closure. That's the reason why you need to have one. Okay? Collaborate with larger organizations and expand your reach. Don't just stick in your little area where you are, expand. Start off in your area and then you start going outwards and reaching and speaking to more people. Don't just stick in one little location. Collaborate. Subcontract with companies needing specialized services to secure long-term growth for your company as well. So create your mini scorecard, for example. What revenue goal can you set for the next quarter? So look at increasing by 25%, for example, for next quarter. How can your customer matrix, for example, how can you improve client satisfaction? Process matrix, identify one inefficiency to address this month. So what is inefficient in your business that you need to address? Growth matrix, plan one team training or upskilling session. Do that once a month just to keep in touch with everyone, but at the same time you want to see what is needed as well. So build your business framework, ensure adaptability and growth. The balanced scorecard aligns with activities with strategic goals. Your SWOT analysis highlights where you should focus on for improvement, and your crisis fund is essential for financial stability. Strategic partnership opens doors for new opportunities for you. So I want to encourage you to look at these strategic strategies and reflect on what your current business frameworks are. So hopefully you would have done that before we go into the next session. So you should have by then done a balanced scorecard, like the circle that I showed you. There should be a plan, there should be the skills, they should be the money, the savings, the crisis fund, they should be, for example, the timeline in the middle. You could have it like, let me just do this so I can show you what I'm referring to, because I left a little space in the middle. So maybe you want to say, give yourself 3 months for each one. So you'll see here where I've done this circle, it was blank before, now I've put like the timeline, 3 months, but you could actually put percentage, 25%, or you could put 4%. You could say, to make it so that it's 25% or something like that. Okay, so that is that section. So now what I'm going to go into is looking at how you can do business during the economic downturns and the inflation. This is important because when that time comes, you'll need to be prepared. Okay, so I want you to explore how you can optimize your business operations, protect your cash flow, and leverage your opportunities during these challenging times. So we're going to go through the mindset, which if you look at the 30-day CEO challenge, I do talk about mindset. I've also got a video here in my YouTube channel about how to clear your money blocks as well. And I'm going to go more into that once a month. I'm going to put a money block video in here as well. So what we need to think about, or you need to think about, is mindset and financial discipline, operational excellence, strategic growth and opportunity. You have to have the power to be proactive in your leadership. So the quality of your business decision is really based on the quality of your thinking of our thinking in our heads. Our staff members, they're not going to do it for you. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. You've got to get your head in the right place so that you can do this. So I encourage you to really think critically during when these difficult times are happening, right? Rather than reacting impulsively, you stop and you just get away from all of the noise, get away from your staff members, get away from everybody that's trying to tell you what you should do. Go into your quiet space. When you're hit with a crisis or a challenge, just sit quietly. Just tell everyone to leave you alone, okay? And just say, I'm not answering my phone. I'm not going to answer the email. You put your emails on, I'm away for the day, literally, okay? You're having a business meeting with you. You only, no one else. You have the meeting with you first before you talk to anybody else, okay? Because people will be chucking things. Oh, do this, do that, do this. Oh, no, don't do that. No, no, no. They're going to already have their opinion before you've actually had a thought process about what you should do and then what the outcomes could be and what the goal is and what the strategy is going to be. You want to be able to build that for yourself, okay? So you pause, like I said, and you think critically during this crisis rather than reacting impulsively. An example is that you need to look at the challenge and brainstorm it to discuss and have a thoughtful process to your response. So what is your response going to be? So you sit quietly with yourself and you think to yourself and get your journal out and write what the problem is. How can you solve it? If you can't solve it, what else can you do? Sometimes you have to let things go. I understand that. But what can you let go of that's going to cause you to be able to rise again like the eagle? Like the eagle had to go up to the mountain and just be quiet, and break its beak, take its talons out, feathers, and it came back new again, and then it was able to fly again, stronger, and live for another 30 years. So you've got to become disciplined and have that clarity. You've also got to understand the importance of knowing what your numbers are. You got to know your numbers. Don't leave it to your accountant. Accountants are good, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're excellent. I'm not saying bad things about them, but you're going to know your numbers more than your accountant. The reason why is because you're working with it every single day. And then what we tend to do is just give our accountant a box of receipts and say, here, get on with it. And then they've got to try and figure out what it is we've given to them. We'll try and figure out what we've written in our books. We should know every day what we've got in our bank. We should know every day what money we've got coming in and what money we don't have coming in, and who hasn't paid and who has paid, for example. The accountant's not going to know the day-to-day running of things. So it's your responsibility to look at your cash flow and to protect it and forecast your cash flow meticulously. Because sometimes you can be hit with something you wouldn't even imagine, and it affects your cash flow instantly. So what you need to think about is budgeting. Trim unnecessary expenses without compromising your key operations. Get rid of what's not serving you. Staff members, whoever it is that's not serving you, they need to go. They need to go, because that is jeopardizing your business. It's your business. They're just there for a wage. You're there for survival. So you got to make sure that you're up high, looking and seeing what's going on down below, for example. On the ground, you got to see what's happening on the ground. So focus on improving your profitability over just increasing your revenue, because it's not about more money, it's about profitability. Because you could make $1 million a year, but you've paid out 900,000 on wages, for example. Look at me, I paid 280,000 on wages. What was I thinking? You know, and then there's the bills and the tax on top of it, and you end up with just a wage. So be careful. Might look good on paper, but when you look at the profit and you've paid a load on wages, if you're paying one person 3 grand, another person 4 grand, another person 2.5 grand, another person 6 grand, for example, another person 2 grand, another person 1,000, another person 500, another person 300, another person 2,000, another person 4, another person 6,000. Where's your profit? Be careful. People will promise you the earth and they'll make out they're highly skilled, but they're not producing money for your business. And then you've wasted money. So be careful of your profit margins. Focus on your profitability, not about the revenue. You could have 100 grand come in a month, but if you've had to pay out 80 grand, then that's not a good business model, is it? And there's a lot of people out there, they're doing 7 figures, but they are paying out a lot of money to create that 7 figures. And that 7 figures is giving them stress and worry. And what for? Just to get a wage. They might as well go and work for someone and get 150, 200 grand a year working for someone. So look at your profitability. So look at the tools, the financial scorecards, and monitor the performance as well. You have got to ensure that you survive during the economic downturn through strict financial discipline. Can't stress that enough. Like I said, I've been through three recessions, probably going into the 4th recession now. But this 4th recession, I'm not going to get caught out at all. So build your financial fund. Emphasize, I'm emphasizing to you that you need a reserve fund during these volatile times. You can create trust funds where it goes into that, so it's protected. So you're actually protecting your business by these trust funds where no one can penetrate it. You could have automatic savings, for example. liquidate any underperforming assets. Get rid of them instantly. Get rid of them. Sell them. Just get rid of them. Because it's just draining you. Renegotiate payment terms with suppliers as well. Look at your operational excellence. So, like I said, you cut the fat without cutting the muscle. It's important that you do that. Optimize operational efficiencies while retaining critical areas of your business. So focus on areas like process streamlining, outsourcing non-core tasks, i.e. using qualified virtual assistants. We have a virtual assistants agency and we have qualified virtual assistants for non-high level tasks. Renegotiating with vendors the contracts that you've got with them for cost savings. Case study is that there's an operational efficiency that can save your business from bankruptcy during the past recessions. There's so many companies that had to go through that due to the recession. Innovation, adversity. You got to think out of the box to solve operational bottlenecks, for example. So find creative ways to do more with less, basically. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to identify just one outdated operational system that you can eliminate or innovate. What could you do right now that you could eliminate or innovate within your organization? And that's a question that I'm asking you. Let's have a look here to see what we have here. So maybe you can tell us what it is that you've got. What could you get rid of today that is not serving you? The more that you're able to think in this way, the stronger you're going to be in 2025. We want you to grow. I want you to grow, and also I know you want to grow as well. So what is it that you can think of to get rid of that's not serving you? Okay, so let's continue. Now, what I'd like to say to you is regarding team optimization. It's okay to invest in training and upskilling to prepare for growth after business recovery. After recovery, you need to just write it down. You don't have to go straight into that right now. But if you can offer that training and you're qualified to do so, then do it. You know, but I'm saying you don't want to spend money that you don't have to pay for this right now. You want to get the money up, and then the crisis fund, you know that you're safe, that you're continuously able to save, then you can use some of that money for training, for example. So you want to ensure that you've got the right people that's working in your organization. Like, for example, the key roles are filled with people that are capable to do it and motivated to do it as well. And that aren't going to say to you, yes, I've done it, when they haven't, because they don't know how to. So you want to ensure that you've got the right people on the bus, on your company's bus. You want the right people on your bus so that you're driving in the right direction and you get to that destination. So some strategies for maintaining morale during tough times is you be transparent with your communication. You offer growth opportunities despite the constraints. So who is it in the organization that could, or maybe it's you, that can do the training, for example? And that's why it's important for all business leaders to know all aspects of their business and how it's to be done. Otherwise you wouldn't know how to train someone on something if someone was to leave who was doing a certain task. Don't leave yourself vulnerable. I never have in that way. I always know what each task is, so I can function with or without staff. You want to think about the expansion during the downturn, for example. Buy low mentality. Use economic downturn to negotiate favorable deals on resources, acquisition, or talent. Some examples here would be expand the market share while the competitors are contracting back. Enter underserved markets. What's being underserved that you can really enter into and build and grow from? Pricing strategies. You want to think about the pricing strategies to combat the inflation. So maintain value perception with customers, for example. Offer tiered pricing to retain diverse clients. So you have one price for governmental organization, another price for another type of organization, and another price for another type of client, for example. What tiers do you have in your business, or do you offer the same price for everyone? Because you shouldn't. You should have different rates according to who you're serving, for example, and volume. Customer retention and acquisition. So focus on high value clients and nurture that relationship. So over deliver value to key customers. Over deliver value to key customers. So offer exclusive discounts or extend the terms for loyal clients, for example. It's okay to extend your terms. So if you had something that's 12 months, you extend it to 18 months or 24 months. It's fine to do that at no additional cost. That is a good business model to do. Long-term planning. So use the lessons learned during the downturn to build a more resilient company. Set clear long-term goals and align your team with the vision for sustainable growth. Again, I would love for you to join our membership levels if you've enjoyed what I've said today. Our memberships are 1 to 4, depending on where you are in your business. But we've also got our business bootcamp, which is next month, the 7th, 8th, and the 9th of January. We hold them monthly. So if you can't attend then, it's not a problem. We do hold them every month. The bootcamp, the Business Recovery Bootcamp is for 3 days, for example, and the price for that for December, for example, December and January, the price is $697, for example. But we do have our memberships here as well that you can join, which is levels 1 to 4. I would love for you to book a free 15-minute appointment with me so that I can discuss further your organization's growth, your organization's strategy plan, for example. What do you have planned for your business for 2025? What is your crisis planning looking like? How is that going currently at the moment? What about your SWOT analysis? Have you changed your business plan? Is it still the same? Because we need to move now and start changing things in preparation. So what you got to look at, and this is something as well that I'm going to be specializing in next year, and that's why I'm doing 3 days a week, but the 2 days a week will be focusing more on this type of strategy for business leaders, for example. Because the better your decisions that you make, the better your performance in your business. So the tools that you need to track your financial performance, profit and loss statements, track revenue. Don't wait for once a year. You need to track it daily. We all use QuickBooks, don't we? But do we really use it properly? Cash flow management. Understand your inflows and your outflows for stability. Balance sheets. Gauge your company's financial health, and you need to look at that now. Focus on cash flow, not just your profit. So why cash flow matters more than profitability during economic uncertainty is that it renegotiates payment terms. You can offer incentives for early payments. You can also delay non-essential expenses as well. Building resilience through crisis funds. Use surplus funds wisely to create a safety net. Do action planning. Set aside a percentage of revenue in a crisis fund on a regular monthly basis. Leverage your KPIs for your business decisions. You want to look at your customer acquisition cost. They call it KAC. Lifetime value of the customer. What is the lifetime value of your customers? What is your employee productivity rate? What is your employees actually outputting that you're paying them for? What are they giving you for what you're paying them for? That is important. You've drafted your mini scorecard. Hopefully you would have done that, and you're going to work on that as well. So the next part that I want to talk to you about is hiring great talent for long-term success. The right people that you need to have in your business. You want to hire not just for skills, but for alignment with your company's visions and your values. Because sometimes someone could have a really good high skill, but their integrity, and they don't have the grit, they don't have the curiosity, they're not bothered, they just want to get a wage. You don't want that type of staff member. You want to attract the right type of talent in a competitive market. So some methods here that can help you to attract the right person. Offer opportunities for growth and learning. That is the key. It's not about the money, it's about the opportunities for them to grow and to learn. Maintain a positive and inclusive company culture. Communicate your company's mission clearly during interviews, and really you need to go through that on a weekly basis with people, because they may hear it during interview but it's not synced in at all. All they're thinking about is, you're going to pay me this amount, so that's all I'm thinking about. Just keep telling me about that side of things. I'm not really bothered about your company's vision. Are they passionate? Do they feel it? How do they understand it to be? Get them to explain it to you back how you've told them about your company's mission and your vision, for example. So it's more expensive to hire than to retain. So regular feedbacks and recognition is important. Competitive compensation aligned with performance. You don't give people additional compensation when the performance hasn't matched what you've hired them for. I've been guilty of this myself, where I've given someone more when the performance or the bonus hasn't even been met. That's not good business sense. Offer personal development programs for your employees if you have them, but what I would focus on really is looking at self-employed persons, where you're not tying yourself down. So make sure that your job description discusses the role and focus on both the technical skill as well as the cultural fit as well. So you want to build a business that is resilient, is scalable. So design your business so that it operates effectively without your constant involvement. You shouldn't have to be there constantly, because when you get into a crisis or you've got an issue that you're dealing with, possibly in your family, or maybe you're not well at the moment, or there's a bereavement that you're going through, your business should be able to operate effectively without you being there and without people taking advantage of you not being there, because it should happen. People should be able to bosses should be able to take the time off without thinking that someone's there doing them damage behind their back, and they're taking advantage of you during your most vulnerablest time and moments. So avoid dependency on one revenue stream. By expanding into complementary markets or products, you're not leaving yourself vulnerable. So, for example, a healthcare agency, right? They really should be doing both healthcare staffing, for example, and training services. Don't leave yourself vulnerable, because if something stops and that's the only thing you've got, that means the whole thing is falling apart and you're constantly scrambling. So don't just rely on one market. When I had my business, I had a training center as well as a care agency. But you know what I did wrong is I stopped the training center and I was focusing more on the care agency, because I had these contracts with the government and I should have kept that going. And I didn't. So this is what I'm saying to you now. Don't just focus on you're just doing an agency. Do training services as well, because that will bring in revenue. Investment in growth. Reinvest your profits into areas that yield high returns. Do automation now. Don't be like how I was years ago, because I didn't even have a choice back then. That's how things were. Technology, you've got it here. Automate. What talent acquisition and training can you offer? What new products, for example, and developments can you do right now that is forward thinking? We all know technology is here. What can you do? Allocate uninterrupted time weekly for you to think strategically about wealth building opportunities. You don't want anyone else involved in this. It's just you. You sit with yourself, or even while you're going out for a walk, you think about what can you do. Key question, you got to have a thinking time, and you got to book a date with yourself to focus on your business. Whether it's 3-4 hours, you do it. You do it weekly. So think about what is the biggest opportunity happening right now that you can take advantage of. I want you to list one wealth building strategy, and then you can create a roadmap to implement it over the next quarter. That's what I'd like you to do. So I've gone through this training with you. I've gone through the segments with you, for example, and I'm encouraging you to take action on one of the concepts that I've talked about, which is our YouTube membership channel. We've got our levels 1 to 4 that I would love for you to join, because you are going to get so much more information. But also we've got our boot camp in January as well, our business recovery boot camp. And I believe that what I'm talking to you here today is something that is going to really take you into 2025, and you will be in control of what's happening. So master your financials to ensure clarity and resilience through the tough times. When you're looking at hiring, you've got to think about, is it cost effective? What fat can I cut off right now? Apprenticeships, virtual assistants, you can look at hiring, for example, and you're not tied, for example. So think about your wealth creation. It requires scalable systems, diverse revenue streams, and strategic investments. So the next thing what I want to go through with you is the success that you can create by you having your business at this particular time in history. There's I'm going to go into the exit strategy here for if you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, for example. Do you know how many baby boomers are retiring every day? It's not just baby boomers now, actually. And this shift is shaping the business landscape. There's baby boomers retiring, right? But there's also people that are 40 and 50, they're doing early retirements or semi-retiring. So a percentage of small businesses are generating massive revenue, profits, and they are also establishing brands, systems, loyal customers. Yet 60% of these businesses have no succession plan. Do you have a succession plan? This is a challenge if you don't, because the unprecedented opportunity, whether you're looking to exit your business or to acquire one, mastering this process is essential. So in the Business Recovery Bootcamp, I also talk about this in great detail. And I think it's important that we think about this now, not just later when it's too late. We always try and look at selling the business when it's too late, for example, and then you're losing out on your profitability. So why should you attend the boot camp? So when you understand what makes a business valuable to a buyer, you also know what looks good for acquiring one, like franchising you could be doing, or you could look at selling your business, but making sure that your business is ready for sale. You don't want to sell, like just because the inflation has hit you and, we're going into a recession. You don't want to sell a business on that basis. You want to sell the business when it's when it's high, like the eagle, and it's strong. Okay? So you got one shot to get this right. Whether you're structuring your business for exit strategy, or whether you're looking to buy your next business opportunity, which could be a good time to buy next year during the economic downturn. We cover this in the boot camp, because then you can make additional revenue stream by buying when things are low. And this is why I want to focus on 2 days of the week on these strategies as well. So the boot camp, it gives you the expertise, it gives you the strategies and the frameworks to succeed where most will fail. So you'll get to unlock the value, and you'll learn the secrets of what these sellers are doing to optimize their business to command either a higher price, or they can buy a business at a lower price, you the buyer, for example. What do you think Warren Buffett and all the other big companies are going to be doing next year? They're going to be looking for businesses they can buy at a low cost, and it's generating revenue already. So that's income for them. It's better than it sitting in a bank account, for example. So the boot camp that I am going to be going through, we have our ordinary boot camp, but I'm referring to the business recovery boot camp, which this is brand new. And this gives you the strategies, the framework for you to succeed. And you will be able to be a buyer and to gain the skills to assess, value, and run that business successfully. You can acquire these businesses. Avoid expensive mistakes. Most buyers and sellers, they lose hundreds and thousands or even millions due to errors. So with this boot camp, I'll show you how to avoid costly pitfalls, and you'll be able to capitalize on these opportunities. You'll learn some investment skills to drive value. You'll also learn about deal structuring for alignment. Financial optics, you'll be learning about that process mastery, for example, navigating the buy-sell process with confidence using a step-by-step tool to avoid mistakes. I'll also be talking to you about how you can survive in 2025 and grow and be like the eagle in your business currently at the moment. I'll be going through crisis funding. I'll be going through the templates for balanced scorecards. I'll be going through all of these things with you. Learn from me. For the last 40 years, I have gone through dozens of business over the past 40 years. I've been a coach for over 10 years, and I've taught thousands of entrepreneurs and CEOs over the 10 years about exit value, identifying and acquiring the perfect business, build resilient frameworks to succeed in any market. This isn't theory. It's not theory. It's not fluff either. They are strategies and methods that you can use in your own business. And in this boot camp, in the business recovery boot camp, it's actually 4 days. It's not 3 days. It's 4 days of live training. And we will dive deep into every aspect of buying and selling a business, but also recovery processes in your own business, as well as recruiting the right team members, as well as what other businesses you can incorporate with what you're doing, and the crisis fund and the balance scorecard, for example. You'll also get a 300-page operational manual as well. When I say 300 pages, it's a small manual. It's not like an A4 size, for example. It is a comprehensive guide. It's a handheld thing that you can look at, because you don't want to be looking at something massive, because, you just end up losing where you are, for example. And you will get to execute this after the training. It is a step-by-step recipe for success. It's a detailed, actionable framework that you can implement immediately. Now, who is it for? It's for business owners looking to maximize their exit value, aspiring entrepreneurs ready to acquire their first business. It's for CEOs and investors seeking to enhance and buy, sell products, for example. And what makes my bootcamp different? This is not a generic classroom. This is the boots on the ground, step by step, how to training that you can learn to empower you to take action and to build measurable results. That's if you do what I teach. It will work. But if you don't, it won't work. You gotta take action. This is for action takers. It's not for wannabes. So I'd love for you to secure your spot. This is your chance to join our bootcamp. I'd love for you to book a free 15-minute appointment here, okay? And like I said, it starts January the 7th, 8th, and 9th. For example, we do have limited seats. We've already had some seats go already. So the limited seats are, we can't have more than 20 people in this type of boot camp, because, I'm going to have to also be there to give you guidance as well and questions. The format will be virtual. It will be online. And you'll also get exclusive resources to help you as well. So take action now. You don't want to look back and regret this. Missing out on this once in a lifetime opportunity. I want you to be able to click the appointment link. I'm not asking you for money today. I'm asking you to book an appointment so that I can go through with you properly to make sure it's a good fit for you, but also to make sure that it's a good fit for me to be able to train you as well. It will be in a group setting as well, online, and I want you to be able to join me. This is an amazing opportunity, and you'll also get some practical tools offered in the bootcamp which will appeal to both sellers and buyers. So which side are you going to be on? Maybe you want to be on both. So thank you so much for being here today. And I just want to say to you all, this is amazing. This bootcamp is amazing. And I'm going to say that because I'm not just saying because I'm doing it. It's amazing because I know what I can give to you and what you can get from it. The price is just, this usually would cost about £5,000 to £10,000, and I'm offering it to you at a special price, at $697. I'm offering this to you. Something that would cost easily £10,000. And we're going to go through this over 4 days. And you get a bonus of 1 day online as well, so that I can go through the strategies with you. There's also going to be a Zoom as well. We're going to create a Discord group, where I'll be able to come in and chat, but you'll also be able to chat amongst each other as well, because this is a really good time to, even though we think that the recession is coming, but it's a good time to buy. And you can get your business strong, so that when you are ready to exit or to sell, then you've got a good business model to sell. You're not selling in desperation. You're selling at the right time. Now imagine that you're able to buy a business without offering, without putting down loads of money. Would you be interested in that? There's some amazing ways that you can buy businesses without throwing money. And I'll go into that in the boot camp with you. The link is here for you to book a free 15 to 30 minute call with me. I do hope that you've enjoyed today's training and it's been more clearer to you. I am so blessed and grateful that you've attended today out of your busy day to be here at this mini boot camp, and I want to share even more with you. I've got so much information to give to you and show you, and I want to see implementation as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your likes as well. I do appreciate your likes as well. It lets me know that what I'm saying is resonating with you as well. And if you can also comment, I will open up the comment section. And the reason why I don't have the chat open is because this is for recording purposes, and I will be showing this on in a course, for example, as a beginning course. So that's the reason why the chats aren't open. But do become a member, because then you can have a chat. So if you're joining our membership levels 1 to 4, I want to welcome you. I also want to welcome you for those of you that are thinking of joining our Business Recovery Bootcamp. You're going to book an appointment, and I can't wait to speak with you all soon. So thank you so much for being here today. Have a wonderful, blessed day, everyone. And I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. I'm going to be coming on here live tomorrow. And I want to be able to share as much information as possible that's going to help us all thrive in 2025. So have a wonderful, blessed day, everyone. I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.